Now, when people think of a bucket list, it's like a proverbial list of things that you want to try and accomplish before your bone's in the ground, right? It's like the things you want to try and do, hopefully in the time that you're on this earth. Filing a patent, as someone who has like that entrepreneurial spirit, has always been something that was going to be on my radar, but I never really thought that I would be forced into that position, kind of like, but hey, if you don't, then you may end up sued, right? That's what this is all about. And this part here in front of you is the focal piece of all of that. Here before you is the only U.S. Patent and Trademark Office patent pending pump action retrofit kit for bolt action air rifles. That's right. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some screenshots up on the screen for you guys, but I do possess the physical provisional patent for this item. I'm also the only person who has one. You know, I did the full patent search. I have the incredibly detailed list of all other similar designs, and mine is actually unique. Having said that, I was successful in my quest to get my provisional patent. Let's start at the beginning though. Why did I get this? I was in a position where I needed to get a provisional patent because someone came to me after I started selling this kit very successfully, and they were like, look, you better get ready. There's a 90% chance you are going to be sued by an entity over this pump handle, and we are not going to carry it because of that reason. Instant shock. Like I had no idea prior to that point that this was even a possibility. Once it was leveled at me like that, like, if you don't get ready, you may end up in a serious legal position, I started doing two things instantly. First off, I started talking to you guys, my community. Secondly, in the background, I started talking to a patent attorney who recommended we go with a provisional patent route, which would protect this invention idea for 365 calendar days. In that 365 calendar day period, you'd be able to go ahead and decide whether or not you want to go for the full utility or design patent option. However, at that point of having the provisional, you are fully patent pending covered. You can put patent pending on your stuff, and you can also send cease and desist if necessary. That is a right, a valid right of a patent pending holder like myself. Having said all of that, I don't intend to do any of that, right? I got this so that we could have the ability to make this, and other people who are also making kits have spoken with me, and I've explicitly given at least one person full permission to use this, right? Like, I'm not trying to like cease and desist anybody. I thought it was kind of egregious that somebody threatened me in the first place, and I would never do that to someone else. What did it take to get a patent? Basically, you could patent anything, an idea, a design, a logo can be trademarked, something like this that applies to an existing invention like the HP Max can totally be patented. You can do anything that you can think of can be done for a provisional patent. Utility patents protect the way something works, and a design patent protects the way something looks. So if this was visually unique and that visual feature wanted to be protected, that's a design patent thing. But the actual function and motion of retrofitting a bolt action air rifle to a pump action kit, that's a utility patent. So that is both of those paths are able to be started with this initial provisional patent. How much did it cost? It cost like $1,000. All said and done. Total. I hate when people are like, it only costs $159. Nah, the paperwork filing after you get through, you know, a bunch of ancillary steps only costs X amount of dollars. But you know what? If you're going to go through the same process that I did with the patent search, the full-on USPOT patent search, and the provisional patent therein, you're going to spend about $1,000. It's going to take way longer than you expect, too. Don't expect to get it done in a week. It's not happening. They're going to go ahead and take a significant amount of time with this. The patent search alone took 14 days, and I was like the biggest dick their service department has ever sent. Where is my results? You guys promised results in X amount of days. I was like that guy, right? It's going to take longer than you expect. But once they get it filed, once they get it going, once they get your paperwork physically prepared and submitted, and you get past that point of submission, the process actually moves pretty quickly. And within less than 4 weeks, I went from a point of filing to a point of paperwork in hand. So it's not that long of a process. And because all of this started, March 1st or later, it's actually come to fruition fairly quickly, and now it's behind us, right? I won the race. I got to the patent office. So it's been a good thing. But I look back on it, I'm like, was it really worth it? As soon as I started having problems, and as soon as I started like bringing awareness to the issue that there was a potential lawsuit on the table, my sales tanked. Absolutely was like nuclear radiation for my sales at that point, because nobody wanted to be associated with somebody who was going to potentially be sued. It was really, really, really disheartening also when some of the people that I was like, expecting to be on my team and in my camp kind of backed out of it, like, oh, we feel like you're just throwing this out there in a fictitious nature to go ahead and try and manipulate your people. And I'm like, wow, that's really what you think? Sucks, but that's just not the case. So long story short, it was really a negative experience for almost the entirety of that waiting period till we got the full-on hard copy paperwork in our hands to say, hey, you know what, you are a provisional patent holder, a provisional patent owner. Once we got to that point, it kind of seemed a little bit more worth it, because then everything we had ever said about the issue was valid AF, and anybody who'd said anything different was completely incorrect. Having said that, I still don't know that it's been worth it, right? Like, what am I going to do with this? It's not $1 million idea. People that I'm trying to cater to, we're all trying to be budget minded and enable ourselves to have more functionality for less coin. And I think that's really where my heart was when I tried to develop this for you guys. Looking back on it, would I recommend someone else get a patent for their idea? Absolutely. Absolutely. I learned so much through this patenting process that I could definitely take on the majority of the physical legwork next time I want to go ahead and get a patent, like the one that's currently in process that I'm not going to tell you guys about. But this is actually not that convoluted of a process once you really learn how it goes. Also, you can become something called a registered filer, a USPOT registered filer. And if you do that, you actually streamline your process greatly. I'm also, trying to take steps to make this easier next time. So it's really not that bad. And if you do have an idea, it's like rolling the dice, right? I'm kind of a gambler at heart. So if you have a good idea and you feel like it needs to be protected because it is that good of an idea, then I highly recommend it. What's $1,000? Right? It was, as far as I'm concerned, on my end, I have an LLC, so this was just a direct tax deduction. And I'm like, yeah, I have a tax liability every year anyways. Let's just throw $1,000 at this and just see what happens. You get the patent, you protect the idea for 365. If nothing happens, then you can say you did it. If something happens and you make a bunch of money, then you're protected and you can legally pursue it. And the $5,000 to $7,000 it might be to go utility patent after the fact would be easily taken care of by a successful product. Can't say really too much more about this, but you know what? All I could say is there comes a point where every person has to stand up for themselves. And when I felt like I was being bullied by a commercial entity that was much larger than myself or anything I was trying to do, I was like, no, hell no, this has to be made public. And come hell or high water, no matter the cost, it's all going to be worth it to me to have said my truth, right? Said my piece and really gotten that out there. And it has been worth it for me, because even though the sales haven't come back stellar, we've definitely paid off that initial investment of the $1,000 required to get the provisional patent. So even at this point, if nothing further were to happen, it's a wash, and the experience is absolutely invaluable. I think it's going to be a great place to go ahead and end this episode on this topic. But if you like this episode, give it a thumbs up. You want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe for more so that you can stay current on the channel as well as when these videos come out. If you really like this video, make sure you share it so other people can see it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.